I want that you imagine that you have a rectangle. Yes, imagine that you have a situation in which you require a rectangle. And you want to know the perimeter, and in this case the perimeter is 192 inches. And it happens that you have as a constraint that the length and the width are related, in which the length is 5 times the width. And you want to know what are the magnitudes, or what are the dimensions of this rectangle, the length and the width. So welcome to this video. We're going to see problem solving applying linear equations. The first thing that I recommend when you have this type of exercises is to imagine or to do a sketch of your work. So the first thing that I'm going to do for solving this exercise is to try to imagine my rectangle, try to do it in a way that I can see it graphically in a pictogram, and then I can have my equation. So first of all, I'm going to put squares in my paper, and I'm going to do my rectangle. So my rectangle is a rectangle whose length is 5 times its width. So I'm going to imagine that, let's say that this is the width, 2 squares, and if it says 5 times its width, so I'm going to do 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay? So that's the first thing that I'm going to do, is to imagine how will it look my rectangle, and in this case that will be the width and that will be the length. Obviously this will be the width as well, and this will be the length. Okay? So now that I have an idea of how it works, I'm going to try to find out the data I have from my exercise. So for example, in my exercise it says that the perimeter is 192 inches. And it says that the length is 5 times the width. So in this case the length will be 5 times W, the width. And now what we should do? Now we have to find out an equation to relate all my magnitudes so I can solve it. Obviously this relation is the perimeter of a rectangle. If you remember from geometry, from basic geometry, the perimeter of the rectangle is just the addition of each side. So we're just going to add each side. In this case will be L plus L, 2 times L, plus width times width, 2 times the width. And this is the perimeter of my rectangle. Now I just need to do something that sometimes it may look difficult, but it's not. That is just changing all my variables to have only one unknown value. In this case, I'm going to take just the perimeter, is 192 inches. I'm going to avoid the units because I know that my answers will be with the same units. You need to be careful when you use units. Try to keep everything on the same units and you will be fine. So that will be 2 times the length, but we established already that the length is 5 times its width. So 5W plus 2W. And now this is just a problem of a linear equation. You can see the video that I did about solving equations in the list of mathematics of pre-algebra. So we just need to apply the strategies. First strategy is to simplify the parentheses. So I'm going to simplify this parenthesis. 2 times 5 is going to be 10. Be careful, this is not a distributive property. There's no addition. And now that I have this part, I just need to simplify my equation and solve it. So it's pretty simple. Simplify and solve. So in this case, 10W plus 2W is going to be 12W equals 192. And I just need to divide by 12 both sides of the equation to have my answer. So my width is going to be 192 divided 12. 192 divided 12, it's going to be 72. Okay, I'm going to do it step by step because, I don't want to make a mistake. I'm going to apply simplifying the fraction. If I divide by 4, it's going to be 3. If I divide by 4, it's going to be 4. I'm going to have 3 left, 48. Now I'm going to get the third part. Third part of 4 is 1, 18, 16. So it will be 16. 16 inches, of course. And obviously, the length will be 5 times the width, so the length will be 5 times 16 inches. So finally, my length, it's going to be it's going to be 80 inches. Okay? And that's it. We found out that the length of our rectangle is 80 inches and the width is going to be 16 inches. Okay, so I'm going to write it here, 80 and 60. Okay? And this is how you solve problems with this type of equations. When you have perimeter, just formulate the perimeter, try to find the relations or the constraints between the variables, and then solve. And this is it. Just remember how important it is to solve equations, and just remember how important it is to know how to model situations using equations. See you in the next video. Bye bye.